this is WestBam here with us on Radiu Szczecin. Hello.
Hello, how are you today?
I'm doing great, and how are you?
Very good. I look forward to my first Jurek of the day.
First Jurek, yes, because everyone thinks that you are here for the concert, but you are actually here for Jurek.
Yes, I'm on a tour of Jurek, like every time I come here.
I know you tried to make Jurek, and it didn't go so well.
I failed miserably, because I love soups in general, and I do cook at home, but again, like with the word Szczecin, which I cannot pronounce, or not write in Polish letters because it's S-Z-C-Z-E-C-N. And I could only say because I see it over there.
Yes, we have Szczecin written here.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So if I don't see it, if I look away, I'm like, S, I'm useless. So same with Jurek. I love to eat it, but it's too complicated for me to do it myself. So that's why I always have to come back to Poland.
That's a great motivation. Also, probably pierogi or what else?
And bigos, I love a lot.
Yeah, classics.
And and then there's so many dishes that are similar to German dishes. With the schnitzel and the potatoes and an egg on top.
Many
and stuff
potatoes
like that.
and all the food that you mentioned. It's also a great way to celebrate a birthday, right? With all this great food. And first of all, happy birthday to you.
Thank you. We're getting old now.
And I've heard something about your celebrations because I saw it on Instagram. Like there was a party, right? There was a new single. So how did you celebrate?
Well, traditionally for the last couple of years, we've always did a tandem of we first celebrated in Berlin and the final celebration is always in Szczecin. That has become a tradition now for, I think, 5 years or so already. And the one in Berlin already happened, and we had Nena over, and we had some famous German rappers. And then, my crew, Cherry here from Szczecin, and Hardy Hart from Berlin, from Electric Kingdom, and Cape Hall, from Lexi Cape Hall.
Yeah.
So it was a great, family and friends event, and it went really well. We even got 3 minutes on the nightly news in national German television.
Wow.
So that was, my old aunt, she's 88 years old. She said she watched TV and suddenly I was on, she nearly fainted.
So that was quite a party.
Yeah, right. What an honor, I'm not too often on German national television, but for the 60th birthday, they gave me the honor.
As we know, it's not your, obviously, first time in Szczecin. Do you remember the party that was the best or maybe the craziest?
Well, I cherish those moments from back in the days. Szczecin was the first Polish city I ever came to in 96, I believe. And I don't know what the party was called at the time. And I don't quite remember whether it might have been that club Lokomotiva.
Yeah.
It might have been. I'm not 100%.
Might have been.
Yeah, but I remember at the time thinking, wow, our Polish neighbors, because there were 5,000 people there, and I thought, wow, I never knew that so close to Berlin there's such a wonderful big scene for this music, As we were talking, your career is lasting right now more than 40 years, and I was just wondering because, for all the people, I guess, you are this guy playing all those big events, creating this party music, and I think that they may think that you are a kind of a party animal. Is that the true about you? Well, to some extent, it is true. Yeah, because I remember, now that I'm 60 and now that I'm on a tour since 42 years, So if I have a day off, these days I wouldn't go to a event, but hardly. I'm not saying I never do it, but I don't do it that often. But I remember, even if I count those years, I got into the nightlife when I was about 14 years old. So, and I remember as a young DJ, I would be playing, like when I was 19, I would be playing Friday and Saturday in my club, Metropole in Berlin. And then within the week, I would still go out to this place called Jungle and all these other places in Berlin. So back in those days, I was out like basically 5 times a week or something.
All right.
You know? If I count it all together, I guess I'm a candidate for like the Guinness Book of Records when it comes to parties, you know? So, right.
But now when the party is over and you have this one day off, how do you chill? How do you relax?
Oh, it's I never feel bored. Actually, a lot of times I still think about the music, and I do edits. I do a lot of music or musical work within the week, and then the rest is like chilling, walking around the city, cooking, thinking about new adventures.
All right. And do you also listen to some, calm music? Like when you rest, some jazz, chill out? What are the artists that would be probably a surprise to your fans that you listen to them?
Well, maybe I'm a big fan, for example, of disco music. People from the 70s, because that was the origins of that culture. That this was the first sound where people said, "I don't produce it just to be played on the radio or just for my concert. I produce records for the DJ to mix them." And that was another honor. On that night in Berlin, suddenly on stage comes Nile Rodgers from Chic.
I've seen the picture.
And
I
was like, wow, man, what an honor. Because for me, he's a living legend from the 70s, absolute founding father. So I was absolutely flattered and honored.
When you were beginning your career, you started in the punk scene,
yes,
right? And
exactly right.
Then you worked with the classic rappers.
Yes.
Then you became this electronic music legend. But when you think about the beginnings, what was like the driving force there? The main inspiration for you?
But I remember, even as a kid, even as a punk rock kid, we loved Kraftwerk, for example. Or there was this German group called DAF. They were like electro-punks. And they had these sequences. And I went to all their concerts, and it was very powerful electronic music. And if I go back, even as a kid in the early 70s, I was born in 65. So in the early 70s, I was still in kindergarten, and this guy who was taking care of us, he was building a synthesizer. And this was probably the first electronic sound I heard. And I never forgot it. It was the sound of a table tennis ball going cluck, 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 cluck. And I was like, wow, the future is starting. So then I was a kid. So like electronic music was always a part of my life.
I was wondering, when you were beginning Love Parade, it became this whole movement, and you had this really important historical events back then. Do you think that this kind of movement would be possible nowadays?
Well, the importance of music always has to do if it's a soundtrack of a special time. Like if you remember those times when the Berlin Wall fell, and it felt like here, everywhere in Eastern Europe, like revolutionary new times. So when a special soundtrack mixes itself with this kind of feeling, oh, the future is here, and it's a futuristic sound, and now this energy comes together, the hopes, the dreams of people with this radical new sound, and a new world opens up. That's something that you cannot, these days, we live in kind of difficult times and so on. So, and the story of our music is still told and kind of developed, but kind of like this special historic moment of these revolutionary, futuristic, crazy times. That moment you cannot repeat, But I'm very happy we all lived through it, and, Poland was a big part of that as well, because if it wasn't for Poland, the Berlin Wall wouldn't have gone down, you know. So when they applied for UNESCO World Heritage for Berlin Techno, they asked me to write a text about it, and that's what I said. I said, well, you know, in other parts of the world, it was a musical trend and so on, but in Berlin, and I think similar is the story in Poland, it became a part of life because it kind of melted together with the special moment. And this is why it's more special, say in Berlin, than say in Paris or in Madrid or whatever, you know?
Yeah. I know that you are not only about the nostalgia, you are also working on some stuff right now. So if you could tell us what are your plans after this, you know, celebrating your birthday for the whole month? Right. Yeah. No, I think that's a little bit like, what's this guy called Ludwig XIV of Paris, you know, the Sun King, this crazy, like, celebrate your like a
birthday
marathon,
for,
right?
right, for weeks and weeks. Yeah. But, you know, we have fascinating new ideas of, on my birthday bash, there was a friend of mine, the drummer of Rammstein, Christoph Schneider, and we thought about a new crazy project that we could actually do together.
Okay.
So that's, I cannot tell you some in detail, but we're working on new stuff all the time and kind of try to develop our story onwards, you know, right into the future. And at the moment, actually, you might want to check out my new single that I did with my old homeboy, K-Paul. We did a record about like electronic entertainment because that's the biz we're in for such a long time, you know. And we have a really crazy video. I think it's irritating some people with a very famous German actor dressed like like a how do you call it? Like a fantasy character, like all in green, like almost like an avatar or some like robot or something, you know. And because we're now working also with like AI, and you know, I know some people are critical about it, but I can only tell you, AI, wherever you are, whoever you are, is gonna change it's gonna get you, and it's gonna change your life. So I think it's a good thing also in our art, especially in our futuristic music, to deal with it and kind of like use it and show people and show it as a visual and show it as a sound, you know, and make people aware of it, you know.
All right, so we are waiting for new stuff.
Thank you.
And
Dziękuję.
All right, I heard you know some Polish
I'm
words.
Fluent, right?
Yeah, fluent.
I'm fluent in Polish. All I can say is dziękuję.
No, you can also say, if I ask you what you want to drink, you can drink
woda gazowana.
Yeah,
right. I know
that's
that.
good.
Yeah, right. So I can. I'm learning. A little bit slow now that I come here for over 30 years. I should know more, but it's, you know, in German we say Deutsche Sprache, schwere Sprache. Which means German language, difficult language, but I think Polish language, even more difficult language.
So you had to come out more often, maybe,
right?
To remember
even more
better.
Often.
Even
right,
more.
Right.
Yeah, why not? So I hope you have a lot of great żurek in Poland, a lot of pierogis, etc. Happy birthday again. Thank you for being with us.
Dzięki. Thanks.
On Radio Szczecin, that was WestBam. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.